I want to talk about this young guy, about 6'1". He's about right here. He has blonde, sandy colored hair, and he's from California. He was a high school player that got very little attention. In fact, he was offered a walk-on opportunity at Gonzaga. That's all he had. And in the summer between his senior year and his freshman year in college, he happens to be playing a pickup game in Pacific Palisades outside. And there was a guy by the name of Lute Olson who left the University of Iowa and went to the University of Arizona and was rebuilding a program. And they were everywhere that summer. And Lute Olson happened to be standing there when Steve Kerr, on an outdoor court, probably with some wind right off the ocean, started making 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row. Lute got interested, 6 in a row, and here's a scholarship to the University of Arizona. That's how Steve got to Arizona. To watch him from there and have a chance to coach him, and then, you know, he gets into, as a player, obviously in the NBA, and he gets into management, and then he decides he's going to be a coach. It's been phenomenal. You know, it's like watching your kids succeed and do really well. There's nothing like it. And so he's a household name now. He's a future Naismith Hall of Fame coach. If you do your research, this is a great trivia question. Ask someone who the most proficient three-point shooter in the history of the NBA is. And they're all going to start naming all these guys, right? Seth Curry and all these guys. Well, Steve at 45.4 is the leading percentage three-point shooter in the history of the NBA. In other words, he's the greatest shooter ever on the face of the earth, I call it. And as I train and work with young players, I tend to get their attention when I talk about that. Hey, I coached the guy who's the greatest shooter ever in the history of the world. Oh, really? Ooh, whoa. But now they all know Steve, you know, so it's not a surprise anymore. But what a tremendous young man. His ability to communicate. If you want to talk about 3 traits, his ability to communicate. His smarts. His book smart, but it's just he's very inquisitive. He's always looking for, and very broad in the topics he's interested in. He's always looking for, hey, how did this happen? Or how did, you know, why did this country do that? And what about this? And whether it's music or whatever. And the fact that he's a leader and he's a winner is an unbelievable combination. And for a guy 6'1", really, who couldn't jump over the Madison, South Dakota phone book without a running start, all right, it's incredible what he did as an athlete at the University of Arizona. And it's been amazing ever since then. So he's a pretty good guy to associate with. But if you have grandkids or your children, I just think Steve's a great message for encouraging them to enjoy what they do in terms of playing sports or being in the band or being on the debate team, and really strive to be the best they can be. If you told me he was going to play in the league 14 years and be on 4 NBA championship teams, I never would have believed it.